feelings. Some of us don't do them. Some of us are controlled by them. Some of us avoid them. Some of us are junkies of them. But we don't always maximize or realize the gift that feelings gives to our life. And today, I'm going to share with you what I've learned about feelings. Hi, my name is Dr. Assael Romanelli, and this is The Potential State. And today we're going to talk about you help me feel. Feelings are what make us human. So before we continue, let's first clarify what's the difference between emotions and feelings. So emotions are the unconscious bodily experiences that are physical, instinctual, they're connected to what our body senses, and they can actually be measured by blood flow, brain activity, micro-expressions, and body language. Feelings is the aware expression of those emotions. They're what happened right after the emotion. They're usually, they have some sort of cognitive input, they're affected by my history, and those are harder to measure. So today we're going to talk about feelings, not emotions. And a lot of us have this core belief that feelings are dangerous, are scary, are uncontrollable, or feelings equals being overwhelmed, or feelings can even mean death or the end of the relationship. Why? Because we grew up either in houses where there was one of the parents was not emotionally stable, was either violent or abusive, and we learned like, oh, that's bad. Or a house where feelings were dangerous, so they were just repressed. They weren't talked about. They were boxed off. They were looked down upon. There's another layer about feelings, which Terrell calls the psychological patriarchy, where when we socialize men, we force them to lose the relational, to lose that connection to the feeling, to the vulnerability, to the expressiveness. That feelings. Just the other day, a male client told me, well, feelings are pathetic and weak. That's his core belief. So whether we think that the feelings are pathetic or we feel like feelings are dangerous or unpredictable, we learn how to suppress them. We learn how to avoid them. We learn how to rationalize them. We learn how to smoke screen so we don't have to feel any feelings. And when we do that, we gain security, but we lose vitality. There's a high price for dumbing down or dulling down your feelings. So you will slowly be bored and you will feel lonely, and there'll be less zest and vitality and hunger and love and joy and play, because play is an emotional thing. Refer to the episode about play is the loop of life. Look at little children. When they play, they are alive. Their eyes light up and they're just open. And if you think about this, other animals also have the limbic brain, can also feel. Dogs, dolphins. But what we have, the Homo sapiens, we have the frontal cortex and the limbic brain. We can actually not only feel the feelings, but we can distinguish them, we can write on them, we can direct them, we can groove on them, we can work with them. That is what makes us alive. That's the difference between us and a bookcase or a plant. My feelings is what makes me alive. And I've come to realize that like the emotional range is, let's say it's from 1 to 10, right? And most of us, and 1 to 4, like from 1 is the lowest feeling, like despair, and 10 is like extreme joy. So most of us only want to feel 5 and above. So we block out 1 to 4, but it's always reciprocal. If I can't feel 1 to 4, then I will not be able to feel 1 to 10, like 7 to 10. You block out the pain, you block out the joy. So how do we block out the pain? We either act out, we repress it, food, alcohol, screens, drugs, sex, whatever it means. We numb ourselves from the pain, but we pay the price because we don't feel big joy, because in the deepest sorrows lies the seed for the greatest joy, because it's all yin and yang, right? It's a circle. And if you think about it, feelings will always pass. They're like clouds. If we stay within them, even negative feelings, right? At a certain point, if you don't lock into self-pity or attachment, they're just going to pass and something new will happen. Look at a child playing. They'll get angry, then they'll cry, then they'll suddenly feel a bit better, and then they'll laugh again. There's like a whole emotional range. And what usually happens is we're so scared of feelings, we either avoid them or get locked in one. But if we learn that feelings will pass, and it's part of being alive, and just let it wash over me, then just like in the Vipassana meditation, where they teach you that feelings are just energy. So instead of focusing on the pain in your knees as you're sitting for a long time, just see it as energy, let it pass through you. And I want to give examples, a few examples about feelings. So I want to start with my kids. So my kids are very open to the whole emotional palette of life. Just the other day, my son wanted to have a play date, and I said no, and he got angry and he was yelling and he was crying. And for a moment there, I didn't really know what to do. And I was scared that the whole day was gonna go because of that. But after he expressed it fully and he went like a whole tantrum, he slowly calmed down, he wiped his tears and he's like, let's go. Almost like he had this wave and he just had to go through it. It's us as adults that we're so afraid of feelings, we get stuck in it. Or we're afraid that if we're gonna feel anger, we're gonna feel it for the rest of our lives. Another example is from the acting classes. When I teach actors, what's interesting is the second they act a feeling, they get stuck in it. They forget that in real life, feelings will pass all the time. So they just stay in one feeling and there's no evolution. Or a different couple I worked with a while back, every time they felt a little pain, they would start laughing. They would start laughing and jokey jokes, so they didn't want to feel the pain, but the price they were paying over 14 years of doing it is that they weren't accessing emotion, period. Because they weren't feeling the dark, but they weren't feeling the highs either because they had no ability to be inside feelings. And just last week, I was with my wife, Khalid, and I was talking, and suddenly I allowed myself for the first time ever to feel a deep, deep sense of despair, a deep sense of what's the point of life. And in the beginning, Khalid was trying to kind of cheer me up and help me, but then I said, no, let me just feel that. Let me not be scared of the 1 to 4 shades, because I know that if I allow myself to feel these, I will be able to also feel these. The highs. And dipping into that despair and allowing myself to be in there and just breathing through, I knew that it organically is going to shift to something else, and it did. So how do we do this? How do we rewire our brain? How do we soften the core belief that feelings are not deadly, that feelings are life, that feelings are movement? So first of all, share this episode with a partner. And then meditate on this idea, I'm suggesting to you a core belief that feelings mean being alive. And choose a situation or relationship where you feel comfortable enough to surrender to your feelings, to not fight them, to not negate them or suppress them, to just let them be. But also don't be attached to them, just let them flow like a cloud. And the next time you have them, especially if it's negative, just start observing them. Go down the rabbit hole. What I suggest you can verbalize like a stream of consciousness by broadcasting live what's coming up for you. And as it's going, it'll keep you from dissociating or running away. It's also going to keep you a little bit playful so you can keep going. It's going to remind you that you're not dead, that this is okay. You're not going to die from this. If you try to do this next to a partner, a really good friend, and have them just support you. Have them they don't have to do anything. They don't have to cheer you up. Just let them just help you slowly encourage you to keep following that, keep exploring that. Have them remind you that this too shall pass. As George Harrison says, all things must pass. Everything will pass. And then start saying to your partner, this is a suggestion. Instead of saying, you make me feel angry, you make me feel sad, you make me feel happy, start saying, you help me feel. You help me feel sad. You help me feel angry. You help me feel. So this day will not just pass by like another day. I won't be drugged out or zoned out in front of screens. I'm actually feeling something. If we are fortunate, we will be feeling feelings every single day. That's going to remind us that we're alive. And the fact that we can access it from both brains with our body just makes us feel visceral. People are helping you. And when you do dissociate, when the feelings are too intense, you dissociate, have some compassion to yourself. Forgive yourself. It's going to happen again and again and again. But hopefully, if you start rewiring your brain and work on the muscle of staying with the feelings and let them flow through, you will be developing this integrity, this strength. And then slowly people and places will help you feel alive, and you will be feeling the world, sensations and feelings. And your connections between your feelings and emotion will get stronger, and you'll have a wider emotional palette, which will make every day more visible, and that's going to make you feel free. So you help me feel, and feelings are what makes us human. My name is Dr. Assael Romanelli, and this was The Potential State. I'll see you next time.